The tenacious defense on the shores of Hakata Bay and the devastating impact of the typhoons, later known as the Divine Wind or Kamikaze, remain deeply etched in both Japanese and global memory of the Mongol invasions. These historic encounters have become symbolic, both within Japan and internationally. This time we will explore the initial confrontation between the Mongol cavalry and the samurai, focusing on the fierce defense of the islands of Tsushima and Iki. The island of Tsushima, located between the southern Korean peninsula and the Japanese island of Kyushu, was a critical base for Japanese pirates, known as wako, who frequently launched raids on Korea. Tsushima itself had little fertile land, so many residents turned to the sea for sustenance, either by fishing or making short trips to Korea. In the 13th century, Japanese pirates took advantage of Korea's instability as the nation was constantly under siege from the Mongol Empire. For over 30 years, Mongol forces regularly invaded Korea, forcing the Korean king Gojong to seek refuge on an island. During this period of chaos, Japanese pirates launched several raids on Korea, though these eventually subsided after King Gojong made peace with the Mongols in 1259. These pirate attacks, however, had already drawn the attention of the Mongols, as had the rumors of the immense wealth possessed by the Japanese rulers. When Kublai Khan, the new Mongol emperor, began sending emissaries to Japan in the 1260s, demanding that the Japanese submit to his rule, Tsushima's close proximity to Korea made it an obvious stopping point for his messengers. However, the Japanese government, under the Kamakura Bakufu and the leadership of Hojo Tokimune, continuously refused to even acknowledge the Khan's emissaries. In one instance in 1269, a group of frustrated Mongol envoys captured two Tsushima fishermen, Tojiro and Yashiro, and brought them to Kublai's court. There the fishermen witnessed the grandeur of the Khan's empire and were instructed to return to Japan with a message urging Hojo Tokimune to show respect to Kublai Khan, who claimed to only wish for Japan's monarch to join his court and ensure his fame lived on through history. When the fishermen returned, they fared no better than the official envoys. Tokimune's continued refusal to engage with Kublai enraged the Khan, especially after Kublai declared the establishment of the Yuan dynasty in 1271. After the fall of Xiangyang, a key stronghold of the Song dynasty, Kublai set his sights on Japan, and preparations for an invasion fleet began. On November 2, 1274, a fleet of perhaps 20,000 Mongol, Chinese, Jurchen, Khitan, and Korean soldiers and sailors, aboard nearly 1,000 ships, set sail from Korea's southern coast, aiming for Tsushima. By November 4th, the defenders of Tsushima saw the Mongol fleet approach. Lacking any significant naval power beyond their small pirate and fishing boats, the Japanese had no way to engage the Mongols at sea. At this time, Tsushima was under the control of the So clan, led by So Sukekuni, the island's military governor. According to the Hachiman Gudokan, a Japanese text written soon after the invasion, there was a shrine dedicated to Hachiman, the god of war, on the island. On the day the Mongol fleet approached Tsushima, a fire mysteriously broke out at the shrine, which was seen as an ominous sign. White doves, which were believed to be messengers of Hachiman, gathered on the shrine's roof, and Sukekuni took this as a warning from the god. Some modern scholars speculate that the doves may have caused the fire, potentially through incendiary devices tied to them, marking the start of the Mongol assault. Regardless, Sukekuni was soon alerted to the approaching fleet. With only about 80 mounted samurai and their retainers, Sukekuni led his forces through the night, positioning themselves on Komoda Beach in preparation for the dawn attack. At dawn on November 5th, as the UN fleet approached Komoda Beach, Sukekuni sent a small boat out to inquire about their intentions. With diplomacy long dead, Sukekuni knew there was no real chance for victory, yet he still lined up his small force for battle. The samurai's main weapon was the bow, specifically the yumi, with which they were highly skilled. Like the Mongols, the samurai also fought as mounted archers, but their skill in mounted warfare was inferior to that of the nomadic Mongol cavalry. While the wealthiest samurai were well armored, most of Sukekuni's force was poorly equipped, given the island's impoverished nature. For close combat, they relied on curved blades, precursors to the katana, while their retainers wielded spears and naginata. The Mongol forces, under the command of General Hotan, were more varied. The initial infantry wave consisted mostly of Chinese and Korean levies, armed with spears and shields, and lightly armored. As per Mongol tactics, these expendable troops were sent first to absorb the enemy's arrows, while the more valuable Mongol, Turkic, Khitan, and Jurchen horse archers disembarked and readied their forces. As the Mongol forces landed, the battle began. The samurai launched the traditional whistling arrow, signaling the start of combat, while the Mongol army beat their war drums. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Sukekuni's archers inflicted significant casualties as the Yuan infantry approached. The samurai, following their tradition of single combat, challenged the Mongols to duels, but these went unanswered as the Mongol troops hid behind large shields. Eventually, Sukekuni's forces retreated to the tree line, where the samurai's swordsmanship gave them an advantage. Saito Sukesada, one of Sukekuni's comrades, killed several Yuan soldiers, including a Mongol officer. However, Sukesada's taunting of the Mongols proved fatal, as he was soon struck down by arrows. Realizing the hopelessness of their situation, Sukekuni and his remaining men launched a final, doomed cavalry charge, in which they were overwhelmed and killed. Over the next few days, Tsushima was overrun by the Mongols, and widespread slaughter followed. Many women of the So family took their own lives to avoid capture, while those taken prisoner suffered a horrific fate, as they were strung along the Mongol ships with wire threaded through their palms. By November 13th, Tsushima had fallen, and the Mongol fleet turned toward the island of Iki. There, the deputy Shugo, Taira Kagetaka, had managed to prepare his forces and send out a call for help. Despite the bravery of his 100 mounted samurai, the Mongols soon overran the island after a fierce battle. Kagetaka retreated to Hinotsume Castle, where he and the remaining defenders made a last stand. His daughter Katsura Haim was sent with a single samurai to request aid from the mainland. However, as the Mongols laid siege to the castle, they used captured Japanese civilians as human shields. Kagetaka's men were eventually overrun, and the castle was set aflame. Katsura Haim never made it to safety, her boat falling under Mongol fire. The fall of Iki echoed the atrocities witnessed on Tsushima, sending shockwaves through Japan. Upon hearing of the devastation, Hojo Tokimune is said to have declared that this was the most significant event of his life. When asked how he planned to respond, he simply shouted, "Katsu! Victory!" As previously covered, the Mongols would face fierce resistance on Hakata Bay's shores, where a surprise typhoon helped push the Mongol fleet back. Despite their defeat, Kublai Khan would launch another, even larger invasion in 1281, which would similarly fail. Though local defenses on Tsushima were swiftly overcome in the second invasion, little detail survives regarding the battles there. Saito Sukesada's son, So Moriaki, reportedly continued his father's fight, and the Mongols discovered families hiding in the mountains, resulting in further atrocities. We hoped you enjoyed this historical documentary. Like and subscribe if you want to see more.